So let's go over to Darwin's way of understanding evolution. So Darwin started his journey in HMS Beagle, which was a voyage to South American coast. He was called in HMS Beagle as a clergyman. Okay. At that time, he was interested in insects and beetles. So he had this experience with natural history observations. So they called him to, to help them and aid them in case of natural observations that happens across the voyage. So while his journey in HMS Beagle, he observed entire population of different organisms, insects, birds, and everything, and came back with all the records and submitted that to zoological museum. But the thing is, he got very seasick and he decided not to go on any kind of voyage again. It was actually John Gould who was working as a curator at the time of the London Museum of Natural History. So he came up with this observation of all the ideas or the observations submitted by Darwin. Darwin actually observed all the species during his voyage and created a record and submitted that to Zoological Museum of Natural History in London. And later on, when John Gould came back with this observation and said that, hey Darwin, see these kind of changes I am seeing over mockingbirds. So there are different mockingbirds in different islands. So what do you want to say about it? How do you think it might be happening? Now this created or initiated a curiosity over his mind, which resulted in different comparisons of different species over the island structure, and that again led him back to scientific and evolutionary idea theory. Now up to a point of 1850, he had this compilation of different observations, and he has a huge compilation of records and books. So he was planning to publish them all, but at that time a young scientist, Alfred Russel Wallace, who was around the age of us, like around 23, 24 or 22, something like that, he went on to the Malayan archipelago, which is in the Malayan region, that is around Indonesia and Japan and that particular region, or Philippines and all that. So the Malayan archipelago here refers to a group of islands which are connected or not connected together. Okay. So the Malayan archipelago and the observations that he perceived, he actually published a paper as well. So Darwin was planning to publish a book regarding that kind of theories, but when Russel Wallace came with this idea, what he did is he actually compiled an abstract and published that, and it became On the Origin of Species. So that published abstract was named as On the Origin of Species, that is by Charles Robert Darwin. And Wallace at the particular time in 1858 also contributed the similar ideas, and hence together they form the idea of Darwinian theory of evolution, or the evolution theory regarding natural selection. So both of them are equally important of giving the idea of theory of natural selection with the observations that they made across the different voyages of different regions and different archipelagos. So the idea of evolution here comes from two different theories that Darwin posed. One is descent with modification and other is natural selection. So the difference between descent and modification in case of Lamarck and Darwin's hypothesis, you can see that Lamarck said that there is gradual increase and establishment of, so what he actually thought was the characters are acquired over time of a lifetime of the individual. I mean, the time that I'm living right now, I'll acquire some characters, and that acquired characters will pass on to my next generation. So if I'm talking about lengthening the neck of a giraffe, if that happens over a lifetime of, that happens over an adult lifetime, then that will be acquired and will pass on to next generations. But Darwin's idea was that there are multiple variants that are available. Okay. And this doesn't happen over a single lifetime, but multiple lifetimes. What he was trying to say is there are multiple variation of giraffes that were available. I mean, one giraffe had longer neck, one giraffe had shorter neck, and due to the plant being longer, only the longer necked giraffe survived over time, because the shorter necked giraffe died because of the inability to eat the leaves. Hence, only the longer necked giraffe survived, and the surviving individuals reproduced to produce the next generation of longer necked giraffes. So, that is the difference between the Lamarck's and Darwinian idea. Lamarck said that these changes are being acquired over time of the generation of the lifetime and are passed on to the next generation. Whereas Darwin said that there is variation, or there is not direct influence of the character. I mean, a character, if increased throughout the lifetime, doesn't mean that will be inherited. That character should be comparable to the available environmental factors. And only the surviving individuals, or the individuals that deem fit for that of the capable environmental condition, will pass on to the next generation. So there is modification that happens over time, but the descent of the modification will only be for the organisms who survived over time and were capable to compete with that of the changing environmental conditions. That's what Darwin's idea is all about. So the components of Darwin's idea, or the theory of natural selection, was that evolution is a continuous change. Okay, evolution is a continuous change. It isn't happening that over a lifetime only, it happens over multiple generations, and it is continuously happening. Second is, there is a common descent. Okay, that means the idea that Lamarck had was that different species occurred at different timeline. I mean, a lion occurred at different timeline, human occurred at different timeline, and insects occurred at different timeline, and so on. So they occurred at different time, but Darwin said that all of them came from a same ancestor, okay, which diverged with respect to different characters and different conditions, and then these diversions continued over time with respect to the characters or the environment, and established a tree of life. I mean, there is variation, and these variation are established and passed on to the next generation, and this generation again forms a different group of species. So they all came from a singular ancestral source, not in different sources. Lamarck's idea was the species came from different sources and they evolved over different timelines. Okay, so that's the idea of common descent of Darwin. Next is gradualism. Gradualism refers to the change that happens over gradual timeline. So it isn't saying that change happens abruptly, but gradually, slowly and gradually. That's what Darwin said. Now he talked about population level changes. That means, as we are seeing the giraffe that is talked about, here a population is changing. That means surviving adults in a population will result in differential population level changes, and the next population will be affected. So he didn't actually talk about individual level changes at that time when he gave the theory of evolution. He talked about population level changes, and then the main idea according to which the entire evolutionary theory was established was natural selection. To understand natural selection, it is important to understand that how selection works, or what is actual selection. Selection is picking up of certain characters which seems beneficial at that particular time. So natural selection depends on picking up selection on the basis of natural environmental or ecological factors. I mean, if an individual is picking up one particular character beneficial to the organism such that it can, have these two factors, that it can survive and reproduce, then that is naturally selected. Natural selection functions around an organisms with the aspect of understanding if an organism is fit for surviving and reproducing as well, and as well as producing viable offsprings, so that they can again continuously come forward with the changes. So the main idea in the variation of Lamarck and Darwin's theory is, Darwin said that the individuals that survive with respect to the particular character or with respect to a particular environmental factor will pass on to the next generation. While as Lamarck said, everyone is fit, everyone can grow on their characters, and those who grow their characters, acquire their characters over lifetime, they pass on to the next generation. So that's what the difference of Lamarck's and Darwin's hypothesis were. Now there was a lot of criticism to Darwin theory. The idea that came about new Lamarckism is Darwin actually mentioned descent with modification, so there is changes over different timelines, and that is changing over one particular so there are changes with respect to one ancestor. But the thing is, he couldn't establish the fact that there is a mode of change. I mean, inheritance. How does inheritance works out? So at that time, he was unaware of the fact that Mendel has produced extensive work on genetics. So at that time, he was unaware of the fact, else he could have combined that. Okay. So they didn't know about genes or DNA, or there are characters like that. So these idea primarily had that there are blending of characters. I mean, two characters mix and match up. But that doesn't mean that that actually happens. So as we've understood across different ideas of genetics, or ideas of the principles of segregation, principle of different ideas and Mendelian principles, we know that different characters come in alleles and they are segregated accordingly. So they do not actually mash up. Okay, they do not actually mix up, but there are variations, and the character actually have established form, and they actually diverge from one another. So these ideas were not at that time, right? So Darwin didn't know about it, so he couldn't establish the theory or the idea of how these characters are actually inherited. So the scientists that came up after Darwin actually established and studied the genetical aspect as well, and found or pointed out that Lamarck's idea of inheritance actually made sense with respect to genetics. But again, other factors of acquired characters was cut down, because or not all characters are actually acquired or can be established in genetic variation. Even if a character that is physically seeing changing will not be inherited until and unless it is established in the genetical framework. That is the basic idea of genetics, right? Then comes orthogenesis. Orthogenesis refers to a straight line evolution. Here an example of Irish elk, where the large antlers that the elk had, so you can actually see how gigantic it is. Here is a 7-foot man, and you can actually see it comes only to the legs, and the huge elks that you are seeing, extinct Irish elks, had these huge antlers which were the reason of their extinction. So these antlers resulted in fixing them down in the trees and were heavy enough, so they couldn't actually carry them out. Yet these characters were picked up and found in next generations as well. I mean, if this character is maladaptive or not beneficial for the organisms, how could it still survive up to the point at which it got extinct? But still, how could it actually pass on to next generation if it is not beneficial? Darwin and natural selection said that all characters that are beneficial or help in the survival actually get passed on the next generation. So then why are these characters which are not beneficial for the survival passed on the next generation? So that idea was named as orthogenesis, where it talks about a straight line evolution. I mean, a generation of evolution that happens over a straight line, even if there is that is a beneficial character or not, doesn't matter, that it will evolve over time. So that was the idea of orthogenesis, which was not actually true, which was later on understood when we actually understand the sexual selection. Because sexual selection and natural selection are two different aspects, where one talks about survival, that is natural selection, and other talks about the reproductive capacity. So although if a character is not beneficial for the survival, but if beneficial for reproduction, then that character will be passed on. So yeah, there are many characters, like in case of peacock coloration that we see, these are not beneficial for survival, because abrupt disruptive coloration or the attractive coloration can be a point for attraction for predators as well. So that is not beneficial for survival. Neither is the peacock's long train, because it won't help in flying, it will lower it down. But the thing is that helps in reproduction. So these characters are established. Now, this idea was not known at that point of time, hence it was criticized with Darwinian idea. Then there is mutational theories. I mean, there was many changes that happened over time abruptly, quickly. So Darwin said that it is gradual, there is gradualism. Okay, but some changes happens just like that, like albinism that you can say. So there was no gradual albino or slowly changing albino individuals. Albinisms happen quickly because of mutation, but Darwin didn't hide the idea because it was known or not known about genetics and mutations and at that time. But what about all the characters that happen abruptly or quickly? So Darwin couldn't had answer to it, so it was criticized. So these are the three major criticism that Darwinian evolutionary theory had, and that was later on solved or subjected with the evolutionary synthesis.